So in this video I want to briefly talk to you about sieving your matcha. Sieving your matcha is important because when it comes directly from the factory, it usually includes a lot of lumps, and those lumps come through static electricity, or they just got clogged together through being in their canister for a long time. So what you want to do before using the tea is to use a sieve of this type to unclog those little lumps and make the powder free and fine, so that when you whisk your tea you don't have any lumps in your tea bowl, because that's just not agreeable and not delicious. Now there are different devices. What I see a lot is that people use a sieve like this and use a tea scoop to push the tea through right into the tea bowl when necessary. That is an option. I don't favor the idea of using a tea scoop to press the tea through, because it's bamboo, and as you know, bamboo of course will also scrape off and gradually it will damage your tea scoop. Now these things are quite valuable objects. Often in the tea ceremony they go for several hundreds of years, and so they can be very valuable. I wouldn't want to use a tea scoop. Instead, there are things like this that come with sieves like these, where you can push the tea through. Now the devices that I have here are not necessarily devices to use for a single bowlful. This is, for example, a canister in which the tea can be kept, and this sieve can be placed right on top of it. So if you have a new bag of tea, you can pour some of the tea in here and then press it like this through, so that the fine tea powder will end up in the canister. You just have to close the lid and you can keep it for safekeeping. So that is one approach. A similar device that is also readily available is this. It's a little bit nicer can. It also has a lid and it has a similar sieve in here, and also in the canister the tea can be kept. So again, similarly with a little spade like this one, the tea is pressed through the sieve and into the can. Usually these types of devices are used when you have a new bag of tea and you empty the entire bag in here, or gradually, and you sieve all the tea at once. It's a method that I prefer because that keeps your tea ready for usage at any given time, and you don't have to go through the sieving process each time again. I also don't suggest to sieve the whole lot of tea every time again. I suggest that you do it once a month if you're keeping your tea for that long. Now this is next I'm going to show you my favorite device. This is a larger can. It's got a lid. It also has a sieve, but in a cylindrical form, and it has a large canister content here. But what it has that is special are these 3 beads. These beads, they go into the sieve, and as you rotate the canister, these beads, they rotate within the sieve. If you add tea powder in it, these beads help with pushing the tea powder through the sieve, and it's just as simple as going like this. Until all the tea is pushed through, add more tea, and sieve again. This is a very handy device, and I use it constantly when I'm preparing for tea ceremony. It saves me a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and usually I do 100 grams at once, and I then keep it for as long as I need it. And if the 100 gram is finished, I would go through the same process with a new batch of tea. So this is my favorite one, but there are different kinds of sieves. I prefer sieving 100 gram batch at once and then keep that for as long as I need it and just go on gradually using it. But you can also use a sieve like this with a spade or a scoop to push the tea through. Whenever you want to make a bowl, you can do that as well. So that's it for sieving your matcha. It's very important that you sieve your matcha. You want to break up the lumps and you want to have a fine powder as possible. And these devices help you to make that delicious bowl of tea.